Welcome back to Good Day. It is time for our Mother Knows Best panel. I'm so glad you guys are here. And we're very excited because we've been asking, if you guys have any ideas or any topics that you'd like for us to talk about, please write in and let us know. Debbie McDonald, she wrote in. Thank you very much, Debbie. We very much appreciate your suggestion. And we're talking about her suggestion this morning. And that was, she wanted to know when a child with a disability or a seeing impairment, a hearing impairment, any type of disability is made fun of at school or bullied, what are different situations? What do you do? And so we're going to be talking about that this morning. And so we just want to start out some of the questions here. She actually gave us some questions, and we were very appreciative of that as well. But just overall, what are your thoughts in general about this situation and what you would do if you were in that situation?
Kelly, I actually have a child who has a disability. It's not as obvious as a blindness or a hearing impairment or anything like that. And she has experienced bullying, and I can tell you, if you're the parent, it's tragic because sometimes you feel powerless about that, but you're not powerless. And I'm sure we have some comments about, how you can help your child feel empowered and what you can do as a parent to help empower them. From my perspective, one, I've got to make my child understand that while it hurts right now, and sometimes I'm just the comforter when they come home, just to try and let them know everything's going to be okay. But then afterwards, I give them a chance to think about it and think, this is the way God made you, and you're perfect like that, and you are who you are. The disability that you have is what makes you who you are. And if they get a chance to chew on that, then that can be helpful.
Well, and we've been talking about bullying just in general for a week or so too, and I think it's important to show our children or help them see what special gifts and talents they have, because disabled, able-bodied, we all have special gifts and talents, and focus on that and how they can use that.
I think it's important that we teach other children. When my nephew's mom first died, and I just after the funeral decided I was going to become his caregiver. First road trip. First trip in the store to the bathroom, and there's these group of teenagers outside, and I see them start to point and snicker, giggle, and as I'm trying to pull the smoke back in my ears and hoping Charles doesn't see, I follow him in the store. We do what we have to do. They're still there when we come out, so I kind of place myself in between them. I don't want to call attention to it in case he didn't notice it. We get in the car and buckling up. I reach over to buckle him up, and I see a tear rolling down his eye. And I said, "Baby, what's wrong?" And he said, "I just wish I wasn't different." And at the time, I think I had a big pink shock of hair in my in my hair. And so God gave me the words. I looked at him. I said, "Baby, I'm different too. So we're going to be a great team." And he was okay with that. And then we've talked about how being different is what makes us who we are and makes us unique. And like Tracy said, makes us special and to make that special mark on the world.
It's very important too. No matter whether you have a disability or no, it's always going to be someone that has something to say about you. And even with my kids don't have a disability. I do have a niece who's autistic, but when I talk to my children about that, and because she has autism, there are a lot of questions that they have. So my kids are more sensitive to issues like this, and I'll tell the world, like I would tell anybody, if they can find something wrong with Jesus, they're going to find something wrong with you. So it's one of these things where a parent has to really be there and really have their child's back. You have to really stay involved with your child's education. Children will respect your child, or other students will respect your child if they see mama and daddy coming around more often. And it's really important for your child to know that at the end of the day, mama's going to have my back, daddy's going to have my back. When they know this, that's going to give them that extra boost of self-esteem that they need.
Yeah, you don't want to give them false praise, but you do want to be their number one cheerleader.
Exactly.
You need to know that.
We kind of talked a little bit, you said, to being involved with the school and everything that they're in. Well, on the school bus, riding, on the school bus and things like that, how do you know what's going on, and how can you kind of help them in those situations when you're not going to be there, when maybe other people aren't going to be seeing? How do you prepare them for that?
My children, I always tell them, and like I said, my children, they don't have that particular disability, but I always tell them, you tell something, you say something. The bus driver should know who you are.
Yeah.
Your child should know that they can come to you, and mama's going to talk to the bus driver and do whatever she has to do to make sure that you're okay. It's very important that your children know that they can come to you and that you're going to handle it.
And stay involved. I mean, your parent, the bus driver, the teacher, the parapro, you shouldn't be a stranger to any of them.
Exactly.
You know, you should be going in when things are going good. I mean, don't wait till there's a problem, because that in itself is a problem.
good.
You know, but
We're going to be back in just a minute to talk more about this topic. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day and our Mother Knows Best panel, and we are talking about a question submitted by Miss Debbie McDonald. We sure appreciate it, Miss McDonald. We're talking about bullying with children who have disabilities or disadvantages and things like that, but we want to talk now about when they're off getting their education. How can you be sure and ensure that they are getting the fullest extent of the education, that they're not being held back in any way because of certain reasons?
Children who have disabilities get what's known as an IEP, Individual Education Plan, and there's actually a big meeting that's takes place with the parents and with educators, and that's a really important step. And I can't stress enough to parents that even though it seems intimidating when you go in, because you've got all these really highly educated, important school board people or school people there, you feel like it's hard to fight for your child, but it's very important to remember that you are your child's best advocate, and you should not back down from what you think your child absolutely needs. And the truth is that you're in the best position to know what your child needs, and you need to fight for that. And keep pushing. Don't take no for an answer, no matter how hard it is.
well, and I actually spent some time talking to a special ed teacher in Lee and Doherty counties, and each school system is supposed to have a special education coordinator, and this is their job, to make sure that, you know, everybody's involved in the individual, you know, the IEP, and to make sure that your child is getting the, you know, the optimal, whether it's services or programs or whatever. So it's really important to know who that person is and stay in touch with them and keep working with them as well. But there were some other practical tips that they gave me that I posted as a Facebook note.
Okay.
So that if you're interested, you know, you can either get us on this page or on Sawiga Mom, and I have
Okay,
it.
very good,
Yeah.
very good.
Well, there's a woman that, because, you know, I worked with so many families with shaken baby syndrome, and there was a lot of bullying and discrimination there. And there was a woman that I would send this to all my families when they would first be referred to me, wrote a story called Welcome to Holland. And she described having a child diagnosed with a disability or something, kind of like you're planning a wonderful trip to Italy, and you read all the tour books, and you brush up on the language, and you plan all the sights you're going to see, and you get on the airplane with your bags, and when the planes arrive and the stewardess comes on and says, "Welcome, you've arrived in Holland," and you're like, "No, but I prepared to go to Italy." And they said, "Well, we're sorry, but you're in Holland," and you're not prepared for Holland. And it's not that Holland is bad. Holland is wonderful, but you have to learn how to be in Holland. You have to go buy more books and learn the language of Holland, and it can be a very rewarding trip. But even throughout life, sometimes you will sit back and think, you know, I was supposed to be in Italy.
That's good.
Some very good tips this morning, and I know that you had some that you had talked with. Would you like to share some of the tips that you were given?
Well, yeah, one of them was to stay in touch with the special education coordinator, and, you know, and work closely with them as well as the teacher. There's also, school systems have, if you have a visually impaired student, one of the questions that she asked was how do students get blind Braille training? And there should be a teacher. Sometimes school systems have to share them, because these resources are usually done not only on a financial ability, but on a need. You know, some school districts might not have the need for that. So, but the special education coordinator in that district would be able to tell all that. Sometimes when people come in from other more urban areas to a more rural area, there's quite a bit of difference, and they might feel like it's they have to work uphill, but it's because there might not be the funding or the need for it. So,
Very good.
One other thing I'd like to point out, Ms. McDonald was concerned about how do you make the child feel welcome in the classroom. And I would say, as a parent, you have the ability to shape that a little bit, in that you're a part of the community too. So go out and identify other parents, find the parents of the children in your child's class. find out which parents and which families, would be receptive, and you could actually help build and bridge some friendships in that classroom, because you might go to the same restaurants, you might go to the same church, you might go to some of the same events in the community. So start building those relationships outside school, so that when they come in, the children are already acquainted.
Very good. Well, some wonderful thoughts this morning, and we thank you again, Miss Debbie McDonald, for sending in that topic, and we sure appreciate it. And if you guys would like to share a topic with us that you'd like for us to discuss, you can email us at mothers@wfxl.com. So stay with us. We're going to be talking about some cleaning up next and how you handle the mess. Stay with us. Welcome back to Good Day on our Mother Knows Best panel. Well, they say that there's only one thing that's for sure in life, and that's change. But I think there are two things, change and the fact that cleaning never ends, ever. So we want to talk about how to get organized, how to deal with cleaning, and what are some tips and tricks that you guys have. So first up, do you guys have any tips here? I know we can start with you, Bridget, because you have brought some visuals that I love. What's going on?
Well, my kids know that there's clean and then there's mama clean. You can tell your children to go clean up the kitchen, but they don't clean it to your standards. So I had to just get proactive, and they don't really have to use this anymore, but you'll tell them to do one thing and they'll forget to do the other. So what I did was I got these little popsicle sticks, and I labeled what they had to do, start and finish. So when they had to take each one of these sticks, and when they finished it, put it over here in the finish section. That way, that ensured that they did everything that was required to make sure that the house was mama clean. So, and then another problem for us with school papers, when they would come in, like you said, hand and meatloaf, and they've got 10 million papers that you need to sign. By the end of the day, we can't find the papers. The teachers write notes, well, I need you to sign this. So what I had them to start doing is, I got this, and I've had this for about 6 or 7 years. When they come home, they put their papers in their filing drawer. And then when I'm through cooking or cleaning, I can go out, pull the papers out, look at what I need to look at, sign, put it back in. If they're back in bed, they know to get it and put it in their folder the next morning before they go to school. So that eliminated a lot of the I forgot, oops, or we don't know where the paper is. Also, too, parents, we always have at the end of the school year, and you can actually start on this now before school is started, because it is a little time consuming, but it's well worth it. You have all these school papers that you want to save, the awards and everything. So I created a filing system based on their grade level and the school year. So when they get an award or they draw a paper or a grade or something that we want to keep, I just file it up under their school year. And that's something they can keep. It keeps everything clutter-free. You don't have to worry about that, and it's less of a hassle. And I think I've gained about I'm 36, so now I'm 31, because I got my age back from that stress.
That is too funny.
This, so yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Well, okay. So when we're going to keep it real here, because we know nobody's perfect. Our house is not going to look like Home and Gardens and Better Homes and all of that. So keeping it real, weekly, what is it really like to have to clean a house with kids, and how do you do it?
Well, I think it's important first to distinguish clean and clutter-free.
Okay.
Because I can't, I think as I get older, I'm developing ADD. And I see a paper, I just can't function with clutter. So I've had to learn ways to handle that too, and try to teach my kids, because a lot of it is their stuff. We homeschool, so we're always home, so we have to learn how to deal with our messes and with each other. But I can't deal with clutter, so we're always and as they grow up too, we change ways that something that'll work when they're little might not work in middle school, and definitely wouldn't work in high school, kind of thing. But I've realized that I have to manage my clutter, but my house isn't always clean. I don't always vacuum the carpet, but I pick all the papers up, so at least I know, I can see the carpet.
Right.
And that's,
Kelly, can I keep it super real?
Yes.
All right. I think as a single parent, this is probably one of the biggest problems that we have, because if you're the single parent, you have to be the mom, you have to be the dad. If the yard's going to get mowed, or the house is going to get repaired, if the garbage is going to get taken out. You know, if things are going to happen, if the meals are going to get cooked and all that stuff, it's usually, there's only one adult to take care of all that. So the cleaning is probably one of the highest mountains to climb. And the one thing that I would say to a single parent is be prepared to forgive yourself for not having a clean house or a clutter-free house. You have to realize that there are some things that are more important. And sometimes sitting down and listening to your teenager talk for 30 minutes about what's going on at school is more important than making sure that the coffee table is cleared off. So you just got to kind of pick and choose and be prepared to accept the fact that it's just not going to be perfect. And if your neighbors show up and they are aghast, just take a trip over to their house. It probably, you know, it's probably the same.
Very good. We're going to be back in just a second to talk more about the cleaning situation. Stay with us. Welcome back to Mother Knows Best. We've been talking about cleaning, and something just happened here during the break that I think you guys need to know about.
Bridget has passed over this wonderful organizational system to me. So boys, get ready. It's coming to the Gory House. So this is going to help with us. I have been teased mercilessly, thank you, by my family for how I mop for 20 years until one day I happened to flip on Martha Stewart and she mops just like I do.
Tell us about it.
Now that is a good thing, right? I wet a towel and I put whatever cleaner appropriate to what kind of floor I'm cleaning, squeeze the water out, throw it on the floor, crank up some music, get my feet on the towel and just scooch all over the house. Then when you're burning calories, and when you have to get in the corners and behind the furniture, you're doing your leg stretches. And then when you're all done, instead of having to stick your hands in the icky mop water to wring out the mop, you just pick up the towel, throw it in the washing machine, wash it on hot water. Comes out nice and fluffy clean for next time.
I love that. Then that is fun.
Very sanitary.
That's a fun way to do it. Well, is there a certain cleaning product that you guys really like? Are you all about the natural, or do you think, like, I got to throw bleach on it? Or what are your thoughts on cleaning products?
Well, I'm like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Bleach has never done anything to me in all my years of being here, and it's not, you know, now I have to have bleach. I love the Fabuloso, the green apple scented. I have to have that fresh, clean scent. So I'm like, use whatever you got to do to make sure that you're germ-free.
Well, my bathroom's my challenge, and I have a 1 part Blue Dawn to 3 parts vinegar, and I use that to spray, and it cuts grease and soap scum, and I love it, love it, love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know that they have a lot of products out there that are natural design. I don't find that they clean all that well, but the stuff that's really natural, like vinegar and water for cleaning windows and stuff like that with the newspapers, to me that's perfect. But I'm with Bridget. If it doesn't smell clean, it can be clean, but it still doesn't seem clean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good one. How early, real quick, do you think that kids should start helping with chores?
As soon as they can walk, for me. I mean, they're not going to get it right, but I think you should start. I mean, this is helping your children to develop a work ethic early on. You know, have them a toy box. Okay, it's time to put the toys up. You know, the barn, clean up, everybody, everywhere. I mean, so it starts. I mean, if you're going to wait until they're 12 and 13 and 14, it's not going to happen.
That's right.
So you need to train them up when they're younger, and then, you know, help them to develop.
The hardest part is the attitude, and that's what you're, helping develop. So skills can always be taught at any time, but the attitude, and that's what starts.
Exactly.
How often do you guys clean? Is it weekly, or is it whenever it's dirty, or?
I clean once a week, but a really good, I'm going to dust and do all this stuff. Honestly, I try to say once a month, but usually when I can sit and I'm watching TV and I can actually see the layer of dust on the mantle, it's time to dust.
Okay, I'm going to be real here.
Be real.
It is when company is coming or when I just cannot take it anymore.
Yep.
Do I have OCD? Because that's every day. Because I told my kids before we left out of the house, make sure you vacuum. They have to vacuum. They have to, before they can turn on the TV, make sure your beds are made. They have to do their chores. My daughter, she does the kitchen. No dishes left out when we go to bed at nighttime. I have to have a clean house. I mean, I hope I'm not coming off as OCD.
No,
That's
But
okay. You
it
can be
has
our OCD person. That's all right.
Everyone is different.
Right.
I think that's neat. That is too funny. I love it. Well, does there tend to be one thing, if you guys could each name one thing that you clean the most, or that takes the longest, or you're always trying to get done?
Yeah, I have a young son, and so the bathroom is critical, and that's one of those things where you just it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
We have 2 floors of hardwood floors, and 2 boys and 9 dogs and 4 cats, so the floors are pretty much my everyday thing.
Mine's kitchen. I mean, we live in the kitchen. As soon as it gets cleaned up, it's dirty again. I'm telling you, I'm always there.
Same for us,
Same for
kitchen
you.
too. Everybody's always in and out getting snacks and stuff. So it's the kitchen.
Yep.
Well, we appreciate all of your thoughts and all of your honesty. We love keeping it real here on Good Day and being honest. So I hope that is encouraging to all of you this morning. Go to mysouthwestga.com/motherknowsbest for more information. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. It's Friday. Tomorrow. Woo-hoo.